are you guys doing? I know it's been a while since we've done some videos, and this is something that we're going to be able to be doing for November, December, and January. Kristen and I found this great series of paper folding crafts that you can make at home together as a whole family. This is available from Disney Parks, but we are going to provide everything for you, and we have this kind of how-to video, and we are going to be making a parade. So this is our first parade float that we are going to make. This is Sorcerer Mickey, and there's going to be 9 floats in your parade. So about every other week, we're going to put out a video and the instructions and the materials to be able to make another parade float. And at home as a family, you guys are going to be able to have your own parade. We just thought that was a lot of fun. So we hope you enjoy it. So we are going to start with how to make Sorcerer Mickey parade float, and it does really roll. Now at the library, we have printed up for you the instructions on how to do this, as well as all the parts that you're going to need for being able to put this together. Now, our first step is the easiest. You can have everybody in your family help out, which is going to be, you're gonna color all of those pieces. So, I forgot to go into, before we do this, things you're going to need. We like colored pencils because they don't bleed through. I know markers are brighter, but I think color-wise, these come out very nice. Crayons are also wonderful. You're gonna need some regular school glue and a glue stick. And you're going to also need a little bit of tape, and of course those scissors for cutting out. So not a whole lot of things that you're going to need at home. Once you got your stuff assembled, we're going to start, like I said, with coloring our page. So I'm going to start with coloring Mickey's sorcerer hat here. Let me get to this. So I'm just working on coloring all these pieces. So you can see we've got Mickey's sorcerer hat I'm gonna color. We've got Mickey. We've got the wheels to the carriage. This is gonna be a base piece that's gonna be a wave. This is actually the bottom of the carriage. You're gonna wanna make sure you make the sides really nice, but you are gonna be gluing a lot on top of this. And then this is gonna be the podium that Sorcerer Mickey is going to stand on. So again, first thing, get those all colored. I'm going to keep working on that, and then we'll get on to our next step. Well, I finished coloring all my pieces, and then you're going to want to cut your pieces out. We're cutting only on the solid lines. So cut out all of those pieces that you have on all those solid lines. This might be something that mom and dad you're gonna do, or maybe if you've got an older helper, they're gonna be able to do it. I know the little ones might not be the best at cutting on the lines, but you are gonna wanna make sure you don't cut off any of those tabs or folds, because they are gonna help you with gluing it together at the end. So just take your time and cut out nice and carefully all of your pieces. Now one thing, you can see I've got all my pieces cut out. I've got my wave, I've got my Sorcerer Mickey, the base, my axles for my wheels, the podium base, and the hat. Now one thing you want to give yourself a little time, now that you've cut this piece out, these yellow kind of swirls are going to kind of swirl up the side of the hat here. So you are going to want to color both sides. This is the only piece that you're really going to see both sides. It's just going to be this little swirl down. So you can see I took the time that once I finished cutting that I did color the back. And you don't have to worry about any other piece on here on the back, just these 2 little swirls. So once we have all of that done, now we're on to assembly. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the base for our parade float. So you can see we have all of the dotted lines is what we're going to fold on, and for the dotted lines that look like this, you are going to fold down. So we got one side of our trailer, two sides of our trailer. Nice, just take your time, nice crisp folds. So 2, 3, 4, that's gonna be my sides. And then we have these 2 itty bitty little flaps right there, so you want to fold those down, because for those, that's going to be where we're going to put just a tiny little drop of glue to put this together for the platform for our trailer. So I got all my little flaps folded down, so my base is going to look like this. I'm going to put a drop of glue. Let me get it open. I haven't used my glue in a while. I don't know about you guys at home. Hopefully you've been making crafts so you've been using it. So I'm going to put 2 dots, 1 on each side, and I'm going to fold that down. Oopsies. I'm going to fold that down and glue that flap in, and then I'm going to glue that flap in, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So we got one side, and then dot, dot. This is also an excellent one to be able to do with your glue stick. Those are a little less messy and hold right away. But basically what we're making is just the little square platform for the base of our parade float. Now, what would a parade float be if it didn't roll? Besides the instructions that I showed you in the paper that you were going to color, we also have a plastic bag, and in the plastic bag we gave you 2 toothpicks and 2 straws that have been cut. That's going to be the axles for our wheels so that your wheels are going to roll. So the way that we're going to be able to make these, your toothpick is going to go right through your straw. That's what's going to let it spin. And we're going to take, and this one I would suggest we have a grown-up helper do. We're going to take the toothpick and we're going to just poke it just very gently right through the wheel. So like I said, I would have a grown-up do this one just because we want it to be as gentle as possible. Get that wheel on there. So I just poked it through just the tiniest little bit, and I am going to put a tiny dot of glue just to make sure that that wheel stays on. We're going to want to try to keep it as flat as you can, because obviously the flatter your wheel is, the better it's going to roll. And this is why I really thought this was a fun family craft, because there's definitely things that everybody is going to be able to help out with on your craft. And then I'm going to poke it through on the other side. Again, just gentle, gentle, gentle. Get it through. My poking was a little not gentle, so my other wheel fell off, so I'm going to stick that back on. And if it falls off, that's fine. Get those on there. Now I've got them both on. And again, I'm going to do that dot of glue so that way, once that's dry, that wouldn't happen again with that falling off. And a dot of glue for my other side. So you're going to want to make 2 of these. So you've got 2 toothpicks, 2 straws, and 4 of those wheel covers. So you're going to want to do that twice to be able to make 2 axles for your parade float. So you're going to need both of those wheel axles made. Make sure you have that little bit of glue on those. Oops, I closed it. Both the glue on those axles to make sure your wheels hold. And then one other thing that I find to be a little bit nice to do is I am going to take and cut the tips of the toothpicks off. Now, we didn't do that for you beforehand because you kind of need them pointy for pushing it through the paper, but you don't need them to be pokey later. So one of the things I am going to do, I'm just going to go through real gentle with my scissors and just round off both of those tips so that they're not quite as pokey. Again, this would be a good thing for your grown-up to do because it is a little hard to cut that wood, but this way they're not so pointy. So you're going to do that to both your wheel assemblies. Now we're ready to make our float roll. This one, you're going to want your tape. So you're going to take a piece of tape. I find it's easier to take the tape, put it on the straw, that way it's helping to hold the straw for me. And then I'm going to line up where that axle is underneath. Make sure you're right there in where the, turn it upside down. You want to be right there between where the axle needs to go, where you've cut out. And we're just going to gently put that down, place that down in there. We made the straws a little extra long just to make sure, and so I'm putting the tape down. I've got the straw resting on the little cutout there, and then I'm going to just gently tap this down so you can see I've got one axle on there ready to go. And I'm going to do another piece of tape. I was a little generous with my tape. I know a lot of the kids will understand they like tape. I like tape too. So I'm going to just put it right there. Tape it down. And tape this side down nice and gentle. It doesn't have to be tight. We're just holding it on so that we are going to be able to roll our parade float. Perfect. So now we're going to make some of the pieces that go on the parade float. So this one, like I said, is going to kind of be our wave. We've got our Mickey. We have Mickey's podium. And then we have Mickey's hat. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to make the podium that Mickey's going to go on. So it looks kind of like this. You are going to fold your tabs in. And these are some little bitty tabs. But you're going to want to fold them all down. You've got 4 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and then this big circle one. Now, most of the rest of what I'm going to be doing is going to be using my glue stick. Glue will, regular school glue will be a little stronger, but this is a little bit faster. So for drawing, we are going to roll this up. So I got to put my little bit of glue there on the end. Roll it up. And make myself a nice circle. And then I'm going to put glue on all of my 4 little tabs. Right there, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am going to put the top right down on there. Just like that. Usually, nice thing is glue stick is going to catch pretty quick. Most of the time. I think I should have used more glue stick. Sorry. Put that down. So that is going to be our podium. Now you've probably noticed there's 2 more tabs on here, And the 2 more tabs are going to actually be for gluing this down to the base once we have Mickey on here. Once we get the other parts assembled. So they're going to just help us with putting it. Then we are going to make our hat. Same kind of a thing. We're going to fold the tab down. Going to do a fold. We've got all those dotted lines. We're going to fold, fold, and fold. And we're going to twirl our hat up just like that. So let me get some glue right on that line there. And then we're going to twirl this hat right on up. And I gotta get my finger in there, give it a little squish so that glue can hold. Perfect. We want a nice and round sorcerer's hat there. So you've got your sorcerer's hat and our base that we have. Now we are going to take the bottom, and you kind of got to look at it to decide what do you want this to look like. Like I said, this was the part that you're going to see both sides of these little pretty swoops up. So where do you want your swoop to hit? You know, how do you want it to go around your hat? I'm thinking this one's going to go right here for me. And then I'm going to have to decide on where I want my other little twirl to go. So I'm going to put one little twirl here. We're trying to just give this lots of good movement and dimension with doing this. And I think I'm going to have the other swoop go, maybe right. I'll decide how I want it to look. I'm thinking right here. So I'm going to put those right where I think they should go. And there's no right or wrong with this. It's do it however you like it. If you want them to go around in a circle, if you want them to go 2 different ways, however you want. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's your parade float. Make it however you would like. So we kind of have the start of that right there. Okay, so now we kind of have most of our pieces ready to go to start putting our float together. The blue is going to kind of be like a wave here that it's going to sit on. We've got our sorcerer hat. This is going to kind of just tuck underneath like that. And then we'll have our podium and Mickey. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting this base piece down. Now, one of the things that we are going, want to do is, since it is a float in a parade, we want to give this a little motion to it and a little movement. So when I'm putting these pieces down, I'm also going to bend the waves just a little bit and give just that little interesting look to the shape of my parade float. And, you know, do whatever you want, but I want it to just have a little motion. Next thing we're going to be putting is the Sorcerer Mickey hat down. So the nice thing is we're going to glue here to hold the hat down, and we're going to glue right here on the ends of these 2 swoops, so that way it's going to be nice and attached well to our float. And a little spush here, and a little spush here. I'm going to tuck that right underneath there. Make sure you get it right where you want it, because that circle is going to be where Mickey's going to be standing. So get that nicely held down. I think I might even do a little bend on my wave here, just to really get some motion there next to Mickey's podium. Now, one thing that's a little different about ours, that we borrowed, like I said, you know, we found this on the Disney site, and I just thought it was fabulous, is we added these 2 little tabs so that the podium is going to glue down and Mickey is going to glue on our podium. So One tab is going to come out to the front, so this one you wanted to color. This one, it didn't matter if you were going to color it or not, it's going to not be seen, it's going to be tucked under. So you're going to want to put the glue on the tuck under tab first. Put it down on your float, kind of push it down. This is where little fingers would actually be much more helpful than my big fingers. So that way it's kind of like that. And then I'm going to put the little bit of glue underneath the front tab, a little bit like that. And then glue this one down. So this way our podium is going to sit really nicely on the float. You're going to try to want to get it right there on your circle. And now we're ready for Mickey. So for Mickey, again, you're going to fold under right there. Get some glue right on his tab. Put him right there on the tippy top of the parade float because Mickey, of course, is leading our parade. And you have yours ready to go, ready to roll. I would, before you roll it too much, let the glue dry on your wheels. And again, it is paper, don't squish it. Use it nice and gentle. Now grown-ups, if you want, one idea is you could punch a little bitty hole or use a needle and thread and put the needle through and run a string out, and you'd be able to pull your parade float. So that's up to you. Like I said, we're going to have a set of 9 of these, and I'm thinking we might end up doing that because what I think would be fun is we put a string on the first one and then run a string from that one to the next one and the next one, and then you'll have one little pull through and you will have your own parade. But we are ready to go with Sorcerer Mickey, and hopefully enjoy it. Come to the library, pick up your instructions and all the things that you need, minus just those few craft supplies. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll get ready to do the next float in our parade. Have a good day. Bye.